And we got another Chevy Malibu, the year 2000. Came in on the hook. Owner said he lost power steering, battery light came on, so and so. You guys get it. He said he checked the belt and the belt felt very loose. He thinks the tensioner is bad. So let's go ahead, pop the hood, see what's going on. So I asked the owner if he's having issues with his security system on the car, not letting him start it, because if you guys remember the last Malibu I had towed in, looked just like this one, same body style. It got towed in because it wouldn't start, and you know, we threw a crank sensor at it only to realize it was a security system. And a lot of people pointed out in the comment section, and they were 100% right on what was causing that car to not start. So it did eventually start. Anyway, long story short, the owner said nope, it's been pretty good to him. He hasn't had any issues with the security system, so let's hope it stays that way. All right. Oh yeah. That's crazy. So what's going on here? I could already see the problem. Do you guys see the problem? Let's zoom in. That is the crank pulley down there, but what do you see right next to it on the the belly pan of the car? That's also the crank pulley. So the crank pulley, or the harmonic balancer, has separated. The only reason why this car still runs is because that second half is still attached to the car, because this car uses the harmonic balancer to get the trigger wheel for the crank sensor. So that's why it still runs. I know the guy's trying to do it as cheap as possible, so that means he doesn't want to replace the belt if he doesn't have to. It seems fine. I think we'll be okay to start her up. I mean, there's no friction on the belt, so hopefully the crank could just spin without trying to pull the belt along. This thing is so loose, I don't think that it'll have an issue with that. So I did some leg work real fast off camera. I checked with the local parts store, and they do have a harmonic balancer in stock. I also called the owner and told him what I need, so he said he's gonna drop the part off. Let's see if we can get into the garage. And of course the battery's dead. Because why wouldn't it be, right? Let me get the jump starter. Let's see if that works. Oh yeah, she's not happy though. Alright. We don't have much time. Remember, no alternator either, so we're just going off of the jump pack battery. And of course, no power steering. One hand is very hard to do this. Thankfully, we're not going very far. Trying to get this thing all the way into the garage because it's cold outside. I would like to close the door. That seems about good. So I still don't have the new part yet, but I am going to start taking the old harmonic balancer off of the engine. In the meantime, I'm going to connect my little trickle charger. We'll put it on the battery and get this thing charging, so that when the owner comes to pick it up, it's not this stupid hassle of, oh, you need to jump start and you know, all that crap. All right, so I got the trickle charger plugged in, and this, guys, this is a very slow trickle charger. Like, this is the type of stuff that needs to sit overnight, which of course it's not going to, but you know, something is better than nothing. And this thing only charges at like 1.5 amps, so very slow. All right, well, first of all, check for any play. I don't feel any, so no bad tie rods. Let's go ahead and get this cover off. I really need to get my tripod, guys. It's hard to do this one hand. I don't want this to fall off. Okay. Those look like 19 mils. Get the impact gun and zip this thing off of here. It's got a panel right here. It's got like 2 push-ins, and that looks like a 10 mil right there. So we'll go ahead and get this out of here. So 2 things just happened as I was pulling back this cover. The piece of the balancer just fell right out the car. So there's that. Another thing is, I had the key for the car inside my pocket, which is a rookie mistake. And as I bent over, I hit the alarm button inside, or the panic button inside my pocket, and boy, did it scare the hell out of me. So let's continue to get this panel off. What a stupid design by Chevy. I'm not surprised though. So this panel is like trapped behind the fender liner. Like, it's just stupid engineering. All right, so I finally got that panel off, and so I think this is a 15 mil. Let's see if this is zip off. Yep, no problem at all. So I do believe this harmonic balancer is a press on fit, because I do, like I said, that last Malibu that wouldn't start, I put a crank sensor on, and the crank sensor lives right behind this harmonic balancer. So I've done this before. Yeah, you just got to be careful that you can see one of the threaded hose to pull this thing off of the car happens to be right in front of the crank sensor. So you got to make sure when you're threading in your tool, you don't crush that sensor, because then you're gonna have to buy another part. Oh, and the owner just dropped this off, so here goes our brand new part. It's nice to have the new part before you take the old one apart. So looks about right to me. We even got a new Woodruff key. It says read the instructions. I don't know about that. So here's the tool I'm going to be using, the Astro 7846. Open this up. And here we have everything to get this job done. So I'm going to find out which one of these is it that threads into the balancer. So it's most likely going to be this one. You can see it's used. Last time I used it was for the other Malibu. There's no way it's going to thread into that. Look how rusty those things are. So what I'm going to do is grab a tap. First of all, I'm going to confirm the size and the thread pitch. Grab a tap and run it in there, clean up those threads on the old part, just so that we can thread in the bolts without any issues. Using my thread checker, you can see it threads into this one nicely, and that's going to be M10 by 1.5. Okay, so let me grab a tap. So I've already tapped the first one, cleaned all the rust out of it. There's the second hole. And I haven't decided, because I don't think we can even get all three mounting points on this. I may only just do two of them and see, or hope for the best, that we could get this thing to pull off. I'm pretty sure that came out the back side already. Yeah, just about. Okay, so let me back this out of here. And I already confirmed with doing the other one that the bolt does thread in. Alright, so I got my puller installed. I'm only using 2 out of the 3 pulling locations, if you will. But let's see if it pulls off. The biggest issue here is that the puller starts to hit the frame up here and these pipes, and I think I'm already running into that. Alright, so I managed to get the third bolt in with a nut as a spacer, just so I don't get too close to that crank sensor. But it is starting to move, in case anyone's wondering. Might be tempted to just kind of hit it with the impact gun right now. Let's be realistic. In the real world, someone would just hit this with the impact gun and zip it right off. You get what I'm saying? So let's see if that works. Alright, so it's pulling it out pretty far. We got up to the point until the balancer is actually hitting these lines. All we have to do now is push the balancer in closer and tighten down the 3 bolts to get the whole unit closer. It's just a game of give and take, you know what I mean? Alright, so I did have to remove that 3rd bolt, and we're going back to just 2 of them. But I pretty much got them bottomed out, so I think this thing should just pop off right now. There we have it. Okay, so it's definitely off. I don't know if we have enough clearance. I might have to get my tool off of it first. It seems like that's the case, so we'll go ahead and do that. Now this should just pop right off. There we go. That's amazing. Now I know what you guys are saying. We've gone this far, why not change the seal? It's pretty obvious that seal is leaking. Well, owner doesn't want to put any money into it. This is like his beater card, just to get around town, take his dog around and stuff like that. He has a nice fancy car that's only like 1 year old. So like he didn't even want to replace the belt, honestly. I know the belt technically still works, but like something like this, I'd say, you know what, it's all coming off, just replace the belt. And he didn't even want to do that. So I know this thing came with a brand new key, but the original one is in there pretty well and it doesn't look to be damaged or anything. And I don't want to fight to get that thing out. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We're going to reuse the original key and go ahead and get this thing pressed on. It's lined up. And I was able to just kind of wiggle it on just a hair, just to make sure everything's lined up. It's hard to see for you guys, but that key is lined up. So let's see if I can get you guys a shot of that. Hopefully you guys can see the key back there. Don't forget about this washer right here. So go like that. And 100% do not use impact gun for this, guys. I'm going to tighten this just using a regular ratchet. Take it slow. And there is a torque spec once it bottoms out. You can see how easy it's pressing on. And of course it's going to get tighter the deeper you go. But if it gets to a point where the crank starts to rotate by hand, you can see how close up I'm choking on the ratchet. So it's not taking much leverage. Okay, that got tight. I mean, like really tight. It feels, yeah, it's already home, guys. Yep, absolutely no reason for the impact gun. You can see how close the crank sensor is back there. It's already at its home. So let me get the torque spec, and oh, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and put the belt on it, because the belt is gonna apply that tension on the crank and help to hold it in place as we try to achieve our torque spec. All right, so the belt is installed and it seems to be lined up with everything, so that's good. You can see from up here everything is lined up. So what I want to do right now is go ahead and start the engine and just make sure everything runs good. The car is happy with the new harmonic balancer, since it does have the trigger wheel for the crank sensor on it. So let's go ahead and start her up. All right. Started right up really fast. Seems to be running. Try it again. Yep. She doesn't run great, but that's not my problem. That's not what it came here for. So it's running. It does sound like it's misfiring a little bit. Nothing crazy, but you can see the service engine light is on right there in the corner. All right, so let me go ahead and wrap up this job. And I think that'll be it. Let's see what the paper says. So torque spec, 52 foot-pounds, and then an additional 72 degree. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do right now. Let me do one final check on the belt to make sure it's still on track, which it should be. Yeah, everything looks good to me. Anyway, guys, so that's gonna be it for this video. I don't know, I consider these type of videos like throwaway videos, because I mean, who's driving a 2000 Malibu, right? No one. These things are all in the junkyard already. So I just thought I'd put out a video. It's been a while since I did anything, so hope you enjoyed it, and like always, thanks for watching.